My name's Michael Jordan. I'm 53 years old. In about 5 days, I'll be 54. December 27th, 2017, I had the loop duodenal switch. July 1st of last year, I was 432 pounds. I was 418 pounds when I came in for my first meeting. I was 400 pounds at my surgery, and at my last weigh-in, I was 306 pounds, but I mean, that was a month and a half ago. I'm not 306 pounds anymore. It's just amazing. It's funny, you see pictures of my brother and I when we were kids. My brother's a year and a half older than I. We looked like twins until I was 8. And then all of a sudden you see me with the belly. And you know, I got through high school and played high school football and college football, and I controlled my way through athletics. And then I tore my knee up. I got hit left knee, and my foot came and hit my face mask, which is the wrong way for your knee to bend. And within about 6 months, I went up to over 300 pounds and haven't been under 300 pounds since I was 19 and a half, 20 years old. Didn't realize you're young. You just live in life, and you just figure that everything is going to be fine. And then I find out that I have diabetes when I'm about 34 years old. You go to the doctors, and the doctors say to you, you know, Mike, your heart rate is fantastic, your blood pressure is fantastic. I have very low blood pressure. My heart doctor cannot believe that I have 121/68 blood pressure at 400 pounds. And he would just look at me and go, no blankety blank way. And I'd be like, Doc, what are you wishing bad things on me? And he goes, no, but Mike, he says, you're 50 plus years old, you're 400 plus pounds, you're not supposed to have that kind of blood pressure. And I go, well, thank God I do. And that was kind of like the story. You know, you find out you have diabetes, but you really don't understand. You find out that you have diabetes, and when they try and explain it to you, they don't really explain what it's doing to you. They tell you, take this medicine, control your blood sugars, lose weight. Well, I lost the same 80 pounds 7 different times in my adult life. I've fluctuated between 308 pounds and 360 pounds, 370 pounds so many times in my adult life. I went for the lap band surgery back in 2007. Find out from going to my meetings with Dr. Your physician, I never should have had the lap band surgery. It wasn't the appropriate surgery for me because of the amount of BMI that I had, the amount of body weight that I had. It was never the right surgery. I lost 80 pounds on it. I was like 392. I went down to 312, and then it shut off. It just stopped working. They sucked all the water out of the band. They put all the water back in. I mean, they kept playing with it. It just stopped working. And then, you know what happens? It's an inevitable, you know, you try and diet, you try and keep the weight off, you try and exercise. And then I ended up getting what they call a diabetic ulcer on the bottom of my left foot. And it was just a blister from wearing new shoes. And the blister got infected. And I ended up with a wound on the bottom of my left foot, on the pad here of my left foot, all the way down to my 2 bones, between my 2 middle toes. And at one point in time, my bones got infected, and I had to do intravenous infusions 6 times a day. I was doing it twice at school, on my lunch period and on my conference period, literally plugging myself in through a PICC line and infusing, you know, 2,000 milligrams of ampicillin twice a day, and then 4 times at night. So think about it, you're up all night just infusing these medicines. And I got lucky. I was within 1 week of losing my whole left foot. And I fought and I battled and I fought and I battled, and eventually the bone infection went away. I healed, and then I opened up, and then I healed, and then I opened up. So I was stuck. I worked and functioned on a knee roller. If you've ever seen one of the knee rollers that they have out there, my left leg, I just would knee roll everywhere. And there were plenty of people that would take shots at you. They would be like, why don't you quit? Why don't you stop? It's just not part of who I am. You know, I tell my kids, my athletes all the time, that some people run, some people fight. You know, you got to determine who you are. And it's pretty much predetermined for you, but you can try and change it a little bit. I'm a fighter, I'm Irish. I don't know how to do anything but fight. So I fought back. And I got to a point last year where walking, doing my daily activities, even with the knee roller, got to the point where I knew I wasn't going to be able to continue this. and I want to continue being who I am. I'm not used to being that guy. I'm not used to not being able to walk. I'm not used to having to tell my family and my friends I can't go do this because I've got a boot on my leg or a cast on my leg and can't get around or can't go up steps or, God forbid, try and go up a hill. Going down the hill's fun. Going up the hill's no fun. And, I went through all of that and I battled it, and I got to a point where I realized, I was in trouble, and it even started to affect my sleep. It got to the point where I had to sleep sitting up, sleep in a reclined position because I was choking and I wasn't able to breathe. And I was getting up 6, 7, 8 times a night. So my sleep patterns were messed up. I was always tired. I could fall asleep sitting anywhere. And I needed to do something to reverse that. I needed to fight back in a much stronger way. I did research. I started looking at all the doctors basically in our area of New Jersey, and I got lucky enough when I had a colonoscopy. And when I was going through the colonoscopy, that's when I had my blood pressure taken, and it was 118/58. And the doctor and the nurses, they were all like, no way. And I'm like, guys, this is normal for me. And they're like, there's just no way. And I was like, okay, take it. And 3, 4 different people took it. And finally, the anesthesiologist nurse came in. He was a gentleman, and he came in and he goes, why are you waking up so much? You put this down on your thing. And I said, I guess it's from having a pee from the diabetes. And he says, no, Mike, it's because you have sleep apnea and that you're hurting and damaging the right side of your heart. And I said, what do you mean? Nobody tells you these things. You go to a doctor and they tell you have diabetes, and the doctor I had would keep telling me, you're gonna die. And I'm like, Doc, everybody dies. And he's like, no, you're gonna die a lot younger than you're supposed to. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to deal with that. And he says, well, if you lose the weight. But when I asked him about the surgery, he was dead set against me getting the surgery. Dead set. He said that was the easy way out. And I looked at him and I said, I'm going to take whatever way out. What do I have to do? What mountain do I have to climb? What do I have to do to save my life? And that's what it came down to. It came down to the decision. And what I did is went online and I researched, and then I met this nurse at the community who had been one of Dr. Urcision's patients, and she raved about him. So I said, how do you spell that name? And I went home and Googled it and started to look at it, and I found out that he's the #1 doctor in the state of New Jersey that does the loop duodenal switch. And I wanted to be aggressive. I did not want to go for a band. I did not want to go for a sleeve. I wanted the most aggressive. And when I came here on the Saturday I came here, it was 3.5 hours I stayed here. They did not say, okay, let's do this, kick you out. 3.5 hours of educating me, telling me exactly what was happening to my body, telling me exactly what the surgery would do, teaching me. And then I met Dr. Urcision, and he comes in, he sits down, and how he's, he dresses very, very preppy and very nice. And I'm like, I need help. And he goes, why? And I told him a much shorter version of what I just told you. And I started crying. I just broke down. I just couldn't help it. I don't cry usually. I started crying, and he goes, why are you crying? And I go, I'm scared. I'm scared. I want to save my life. I don't want this. I don't want this anymore. And he says, we can help you. And that's when the 3.5 hours started. And that's when I started to learn what it was going to take. And I have to tell you, I was full joy. There was no doubt in me. There was no doubt. I knew I needed this. I knew I wanted this. I knew from the research I had done and from talking to Dr. Urcision and Mike that this was the best choice for me. And I was pretty aggressive with getting all my doctor's appointments lined up. I'm sure the ladies have told you that. And I pretty much knocked everything out in about 3.5 months. So I went from my first meetings middle of August to my surgery December 27th pretty quickly. I didn't sit and wait and hope. I went after it. 5 months in 1 weekend, and I'm down over 130 pounds. And I can bend over, I can walk, I can bike. I'm back on a bike. I'm mobile. When we ran our track meets this year, I work at Central Regional High School. Instead of letting everybody else do the work and me supervise, I was out there working with them, carrying tables and picking up chairs and setting up the field. I'm a different person in 5 months, by far a different person. And that is exciting. That's exciting for a 53-year-old man. My best friend, Bobby, who pushed me for this, he really pushed me a lot. He said to me, he says, Mike, everybody else at your age is going the wrong way. He goes, most men your age are getting heavier, getting more sedentary, slowing down. He goes, you're going to be going in reverse. And I'm like, Bob, I didn't do this for that. He goes, Mike, you're going to be going in reverse. Other men are going to be getting older and slower. You're going to be getting faster. You're going to be looking younger. But I don't know how to respond to it because that's not why I did this. I did this to be able to walk. I did this to get rid of the diabetes. 3 weeks after the surgery, I have pretty much not taken insulin once since 3 weeks after the surgery. I no longer take blood pressure medicine. I do no longer take any medicine other than what I take for my supplements. Other than my iron supplement and my calcium supplement and my multivitamin, I don't take anything else. I was my father. I was my grandfather. I had that little case with the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with the 9 pills in it. 9 pills every day just to keep my body functioning. Garbage. When I was at my heaviest, I literally couldn't reach the glove box. I had so much girth in front of me that I couldn't reach the glove box to open it, to grab a napkin, to give to my wife while we were driving. If she would have to reach over and grab it. I guess it was about 6 weeks after the surgery. I'm in the line to go to the bank and I drop my license on the floor in front of me, and I'm stuck in the lane. I'm now in the lane. The tube is right there. There's no such thing as opening the door. So you either have to pull out, drive around, get out of the car, grab your license, get back in, go back online. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can reach this. And it was the most amazing thing. I just bent down with the steering wheel in front of me, reached down on the ground and grabbed the license that was between my 2 feet and picked it back up, not realizing that I was doing it. And I went, oh my God, I just did something that I haven't been able to do in 8, 9, 10 years. That was the first real inclination to me that this was going to be a huge change. I'm mobile again. The steering wheel was rubbing on my belly, even though the seat was all the way back. The steering wheel was rubbing on my belly. My steering wheel's still out like this. My wife yells at me and she goes, why don't you move your seat forward? And I go, I like it out there. I like not having the steering wheel rubbing on my belly. I like having distance in front of me. It's those little things that you start to pick up as you're going through life. I said before that I'm a track coach. So, my athletes for the last 6 years have known me as the guy on the bike. Have known me as the guy with the boot on, with the cast on, going for surgeries, sometimes actually having to miss school and practice because I'm laid up because of different surgeries that I've had to have. They're starting to get to know who I am. The kids this year, I'm so thankful that they're getting to see Mr. Jordan. They're getting to see who I really am, mobile and moving. And my assistant coach says to me, we just ran the group championships at our high school last weekend. It's a pretty doggone big meet, 5,000 people, spectators. He and I are on golf carts running around carrying tables. I'm picking up tables now. I'm not just sitting and waiting for them to get back. I'm picking up the tables and carrying them. I'm picking up the chairs and carrying them. I'm doing the work that everybody else is doing. I could not have done that, not even thought about doing that 6 months ago. Not even close.